Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Foundation. I'm going to be doing a half and half sort of review. So I have the foundation on one side and then the Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturiser on the other side. That way we could compare the two on the skin. I've been testing out the Pretty Fresh Foundation for the past week and a half, I would say. And the Tinted Moisturiser actually has been my everyday base product. I've been wearing this every single day for the past 2 to 3 months. I love it. So we're going to compare these two on the skin. I'm also going to be reviewing the freckle pens as well, since these did release around the same time as the foundation. So we're going to hit two birds with one stone in today's review. So if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on these products, then just continue watching. Alright, so before we jump into the half and half demo application, I want to show you what the foundation looks like on its own. So I'm going to insert a clip of me applying it just a couple of days ago. So I applied the foundation on half my face with a makeup brush and the other side with a sponge. So the side with the makeup brush, you are going to get a lot more coverage just because the brush is really going to be packing on the foundation into your skin and it's not really taking away any of the coverage or the product. But I will say applying foundation with a brush on my skin, it can look a little bit more cakey. So I do prefer applying my foundations with a sponge just because the sponge does absorb a bit of the product, so I feel like it's less cakey and it just evenly spreads out the foundation the way I like it, but that is always just personal preference. I think from camera you probably can't tell the difference between the two sides, especially once the makeup is on, because today we are doing a half and half face. I thought it would be helpful to show you guys what it looks like on its own on my entire face. But if you guys have watched any of my past videos, I've been wearing this foundation, I would say, for the past week and a half. So I would say probably the last two videos that I uploaded, I was wearing this foundation. So if you want to see it in different videos, there's that option for you as well. But okay, for this review, I'm going to be applying the foundation on one side and the tinted moisturizer on the other side, just so we can compare and really see the difference. So let's go ahead and apply the foundation first. I think I will apply it on this side. So I'm wearing the shade Light 70W and I'm just going to take a little bit on the back of my hand. It is quite runny. It's a very liquidy foundation and I'm just going to dab that onto my skin. I am not wearing a primer today. I could have worn the Pretty Fresh primer and I have worn this foundation with that primer and I just think it's just way too dewy for me. The combination of that primer and this foundation together is extremely dewy. Just have my moisturizer on. I feel like it's good enough as a primer. So I'm going to take my sponge. This sponge is also from Colourpop. I think it's called their detail sponge and I'm just going to blend that into my skin. So let's chat about the formulation first before I start comparing it to the tinted moisturizer. So this is pretty much like the medium version of the tinted moisturizer but in a foundation form. And I would sort of agree with that. I do think it's a little bit thicker, obviously, because it is a foundation. And I don't know if it's just like I'm used to wearing tinted moisturizer like for the past 2 months, and anytime that I wear foundation, I just feel like I look extremely cakey. You can see the coverage is pretty light to medium. I would say it's definitely buildable. I think that's one of their claims as well, that it is buildable. You can definitely build it to like a medium coverage but not to a high coverage. I think overall I do like it. I really like it when it's just like this directly onto my skin, but I think once I set everything down, it sort of looks a little bit heavy on my skin. But I guess that's just normal with foundation. Foundations are not gonna look like your natural skin, right? But I do like it. I think my expectation of this foundation was just really high. I watched a couple of reviews and a lot of people was really loving it. And then when I received it, I was like, oh, I don't know, I kind of like the tinted moisturizer a little bit better. But I think a part of that is my skin was playing up last week. My skin was extremely dry last week, and then when I wore this foundation, I don't know why, it has hyaluronic acid, which is supposed to be a hydrating ingredient, and it's supposed to be quite dewy and like fresh looking, and it's also ideal for all skin types. So when I had really dry skin, I just felt like it really emphasized my texture in a way, and I just didn't really like my overall complexion when I had that extremely dry skin. But then when I pack on the moisturizer and all my skincare, my skin is feeling plumped. I really do like this foundation. So I don't really know what happened there. I don't know if it's just I wasn't applying enough skincare, but that was sort of my experience, is that when I had extremely dry skin, I didn't like this foundation, but when my skin is nice and hydrated, I did like this foundation. But I have the foundation on. This is just what it looks like. I would say this is about like 2 layers I did go in with. I would say it definitely evens out my skin tone. You still can see a bit of my scarring, and I do have this little dark dry patch on my lip, but I'll cover that with concealer. But for the most part, the overall complexion is super pretty. And as for the shade, I would say it matches me alright. I mean, I'm really bad at shade matching, so I feel like this is a decent shade match. And then for the other side, we're gonna go in with the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturiser, and I use the shade Medium 9W. So if this is your first time to my channel, I've been wearing this tinted moisturizer literally every single day for the past 2 to 3 months. This has replaced any foundation. I haven't been wearing foundation at all until I was trying this one out. And I've just been really liking a lightweight base and just using like a full coverage concealer, because I feel like it makes my base look less cakey, and I feel like that's just sort of the trend nowadays. Not that I'm wanting to follow the trend, I just think it looks better when it's, you know, a little bit less heavy on the skin. But I feel like that's definitely the trend. Lightweight makeup. I haven't done a cut crease in ages either. It does sort of look a little bit dark, but because it's a tinted moisturizer, coverage is pretty light. I feel like you can sort of get away if the shade is too light or too dark on you. But I'm just going to use my clean fingers to rub this in. I like applying the tinted moisturizer with my fingers. It's really quick and easy. But I have some notes down here that I've written to compare, you know, just the pricing and claims between the two Pretty Fresh complexion products. So the foundation is $16 US, and it comes with 1 fluid ounce, which is pretty standard for a foundation, and that is 30 mils. And then the Pretty Fresh tinted moisturizer is $14 US, and you actually get more product with this. This one has 1.45 fluid ounces, which is 45 mils, so just a little bit more. And I personally feel like the tinted moisturizer will actually last me longer. I find myself using less of the tinted moisturizer. The tinted moisturizer has 24 shades. There's a big difference with that, but I don't really see too much of a problem, because like I said, the tinted moisturizer, whether it's like a shade lighter or darker, you can sort of get away with this. Like, this is a medium shade, and you can sort of see once it's on the skin, it blends out to be the same sort of tone. I don't think there's like too much of a difference. Again, for my shades, the foundation shade I have is a light 70W, and this is described to be a warm foundation for light skin tones. And then the medium 9W, this is described to be a warm tinted moisturizer for medium skin tone. So it has a sort of same description, but the medium 9W is for medium skin. But I feel like these two could be the same. I know they look extremely different when they're next to each other, but when it's on the face, do you guys see a difference in shade? I feel like it's sort of the same, right? So this side is the tinted moisturizer, just 1 layer. I don't need to go in with a second layer. That's why I feel like I use less product. So that's this side, and then this is the foundation side. I definitely can see the foundation has covered just a little bit more. You can see probably around my cheeks, the redness here is a little bit more obvious, and then here it's a little bit more covered. I'm just gonna do the rest of my base so you guys can see how I do it, but it's pretty much the same technique that I always do. But I thought I would just continue filming as I'm still reading out the comparison claim. So the description of the foundation, it says it's a skin perfecting medium buildable coverage foundation, and then for the tinted moisturizer, it says that it's a skin perfecting lightweight coverage for fresh, healthy looking skin. I think the claims is pretty similar. The only thing that is different is the coverage. So obviously the foundation is just supposed to be a 1 step up from the tinted moisturizer. Still prefer the tinted moisturizer over the foundation, and that is probably just personal preference, because I've been wearing this tinted moisturizer for the past, like, you know, 2 to 3 months. I'm so used to having like such a lightweight base and my skin not looking so heavy that when I wear a foundation, it could be any foundation, I'm gonna naturally think that it looks a little bit cakey, right? And I feel like I just kind of can't unsee that now. You know what I mean? Because I'm just so used to it. But everything else, like the other claims, it's all the same. So both finishes are going to be natural, they're oil free, they're both vegan, and they both have hyaluronic acid and coconut water. So almost everything is the same. It's just the foundation is going to be a medium coverage, just like what you would expect from the claims. Alright, so this is what the final complexion is looking like. So the additional products that I applied on my face are concealer, then loose powder to set that concealer underneath my eyes, and then I used a pressed powder to set down the rest of my face, and then I just put my brows on. But this is pretty much the base done. I think on camera you guys definitely are gonna think both sides look the same. I would say in person they look very similar. You can tell that this side you can still see a little bit of my scarring, but I think no one's gonna be like, well, this side is a completely different foundation from this side. So now I'm just gonna go off camera and finish off my makeup, and then I'll come back and play around with the freckle pens and give you guys my opinion on that. And now I am back with my full face. This is what the base is looking like with all of my makeup on. I'll turn my contrast down just a little bit so you guys can see it a bit clearer. So this side is the Tinted Moisturiser side, and this side is the foundation side. If the end result is going to look fairly similar, I'm gonna go with the Tinted Moisturiser option because it lets your skin breathe as well, because it's a tinted moisturizer, it's not a foundation. So I feel like this side is just better for your skin anyway. I might as well go with this route. So that's just my personal take on it. Now let's talk about the new freckle pens. So I'm just gonna leave the contrast to be low so you can see the freckle pens, and I've tried this once and I sort of have an opinion on it, but I'll read you some product info about it. They are $8 US each, and there are 2 shades. The 2 shades are soft brown and dark brown. And on the Colourpop website it just says that it's a super long wearing formula, buildable, customizable color, and the softest felt tip applicator to create the most effortless and sun-kissed look. So it is a felt tip, and that's what it looks like. The point of it's actually not that pointy. I feel like even their BFF liquid liner would be pointier than this. It's a little bit rounded out. So this is what their BFF liquid liner looks like. You can see it's much more pointy than the freckle pen. I love the look of faux freckles. I do them here and there, and I usually just use an eyeshadow to create my faux freckles, and I feel like that does the trick. And I'll just sort of swatch the color. So it just looks like a light felt pen. That one is soft brown, and then this one on the bottom here is dark brown. So soft brown has more like a taupey sort of tint to it. So soft brown on top and then dark brown on the bottom. I feel like once it's on the skin, they sort of look very similar. I don't really know which one I like better, to be honest, but I'll use dark brown. I'll use it on this side and then soft brown on this side, and you guys can see the difference. We're just doing a lot of half and half today. I like to hold the end of the brush because what I did in the beginning, I would hold it really close and the little dots, little faux freckles that I would put on were too thick. So I'm just going to lightly dab it all over. Just a very light hand. And then you can just take your ring finger to dab that in. You could even take your sponge as well to just press in the product, make it like not as pigmented and intense. So that is the dark brown side. Hopefully my camera is able to pick up the color and you guys can see that. And now for this side, I'll go in with soft brown. And that's what the freckles look like from far away. I'm not sure if my camera is going to be able to pick it up because it is just so light. But I think once both sides are on, dark brown, soft brown, what's it called, soft brown? Dark brown and soft brown, there's not really too much of a difference. I think if you were looking extremely close, then you can see the color difference, but I feel like you don't really need both pans. I probably would go for dark brown just because that's the sort of shade that I would use when I create my faux freckles, when I use an eyeshadow. But I did purchase both, so I will use both. I'll use them like mixed together, not like half and half like I did today. If you're very, very fair, then maybe get soft brown. That would work a little bit better on you. Would I say that these are necessary? I don't really think so. I didn't have any issues of creating faux freckles with eyeshadow and just like a very small detailed brush. I think they looked fine either way because it's faux freckles. It's going to look fake anyway. It's not really like a necessary product, but it's a cute product, and if you need to spend $8 to get free shipping, why not? It's great for the summertime. It's a great product to play around with, but I don't think it's like a holy grail necessary product. But I do like how the freckles look. I mean, I'm not really that great at putting on faux freckles because I feel like I'm just so technical that the faux freckles are like in a row almost. It's hard for me to like scramble them all over my cheek area. But yeah, that is my review on the freckle pens. Alright you guys, so this is going to conclude today's review. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope you found it helpful. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up for me and also let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of the foundation? What do you guys think of the freckle pens? Do you prefer the foundation or do you prefer the tinted moisturizer? Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear them down below. I feel like throughout this video I went through a total transformation. This is the final look, the final vibe. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully I made sense, because sometimes when I do these reviews I don't even know if I'm making any sense at all. But I'm just hoping it will help you guys out and just make your decision a little bit easier if you wanted to purchase this foundation or the freckle pens. But yeah you guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!